I love new music. Ever since I was a teenager, I've always enjoyed staying up for album releases. I have core memories of staying up with my friends and waiting for releases like Astroworld, Kids See Ghost, and Testing. But sometimes artists don't follow through or opts to release a song at an odd time of the day or week, not necessarily following the Friday at midnight release schedule. So what would a semi-busy, mentally healthy, rational person with a combined passion for music technology and new Spotify releases do? This all started out in May when I tore my ACL snowboarding. After I got surgery, I had a lot of time to myself, where I couldn't do any of my usual hobbies like running and biking. What started out as a 2-week personal project quickly turned into a 4-month endeavor. Oh, this is scary. And here we are, a decently robust webhook service for detecting and monitoring Spotify releases of designated artists. As a music fan and software engineer, I've spent a lot of time using the Spotify API. Spotify is some of my favorite software that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, and them having a robust public API deeply elevates my respect for them as a platform. There's so much potential for cool side projects with their API, and I heavily recommend anyone who hasn't used it to go ahead and check it out. But as useful and powerful as their API is, it's missing one critical capability in my opinion: webhooks. For those unaware, a webhook is a way for an application to subscribe to real-time data updates when a specific event happens. Usually, when an app gets external data, it has to make what's called an API request, where it fetches data from another app. A webhook is somewhat the opposite in that it lets your API subscribe to updates from another app and receive data without having to manually send a request itself. So the purpose of my app, Spotify Webhooks, is to enable an API to receive Spotify data upon an event, primarily focused around an artist releasing new music, but there's a lot of other types of events I would like to support in the future. So, the way Spotify Webhooks works is, after creating an account and validating your email, a user is then given the ability to create a new webhook subscription. You can enter the artists you would like to track releases for, and then provide your endpoint that you would like to receive webhook events to. Then, when an artist releases new music on Spotify, that endpoint will be notified with an event payload containing Spotify API data about the release. These events are then aggregated on the recent activity page, where you can view previous notifications. I built this app with Next.js, React, Supabase, Tailwind, Vercel, and AWS Lambda. I don't think that a tech stack matters too much as long as it aligns with your goals and capabilities, but this stack worked for me because I've used these technologies a lot and enabled me to move relatively quickly. Even though I work as a software engineer, having a side project has been a really good way for me to learn and build outside of work. I think everyone who works a role in what would otherwise be a hobby should explore side projects as a mean to maintain and grow passion for what you're doing and take ownership beyond your usual role. Owning a project end-to-end has been really impactful to someone like me, who is otherwise a single oarsman on a massive corporate vessel. It's been fun to own every step and aspect of a project, and I don't think I'll stop here. The last thing I would like to say is that Spotify, I don't know if you're watching, but you do obviously have the capability to nuke my entire project, revoke all my API access and stop this project from existing. But I would challenge that and say, why? Webhooks are such a powerful and useful feature to have in web development, and having this capability has enabled me to build other things that wouldn't otherwise be possible. I will link Spotify Webhooks in the description if anyone is interested in testing it out or using them to build something cool. Thank you for watching.